13, the BLU Studio Energy 2, the full review. Not too intense review. I'm just going to try to get to the major points. And hopefully you can decide on whether you want to pick up this, what I'm calling a flagship budget device for 180 bucks through Amazon, through a company called BLU, up-and-coming company out of Florida. So hopefully, if this is a sign of devices to come from them, I can't wait. Now, they do need to work on their customer base as far as getting back to their customers. And number two, software updates. They are kind of lazy about it, so hopefully they'll start working on that, especially when they come out with devices like this. So before I get to the full review, again, stick around. Please watch the video. Number one, if you are a new viewer, please subscribe and hit like or dislike. If you're an existing team member of my Project 13, please hit like or dislike. Every click counts towards funding this channel on YouTube. Please hear me. Every click, whether you watch the full video or not, click something. It'll make it so much easier to bring in devices that, especially that you request, whether they're flagships, mid-range, or budget devices. It's just going to make it more that much more easier. So please click away. Thank you. So back to this device. Number one, the reason I brought it in, when I first heard of it, the 5,000 milliamp battery, which has proven to be true. I get 2 full days without a charge from this device, moderate to heavy, and sometimes super heavy. 5,000 milliamp battery. I've never had a device ever in my hands that went 2 solid days without babysitting it. And I love that. I hate babysitting a device. Now, I'm glad that the devices that are coming out now have fast charge. So, man, if you're running down, you can plug it in, get that, 20 minutes, you get that quick juice, and you're ready to go and finish out the day. But it's nice to have a device that comes out that you don't even need to do that. And that's amazing to me. The Huawei Nexus 6P was a device that super powerhouse device that went for 5, 6, 7 hours when it was in my hands and I was using it as a daily driver. And that was amazing to me. So outside of that device, this whole year, and back when I first started buying smartphones, that and this device are the only 2 devices that I've had that supersede battery life in what I've expected, especially this one. This is a 2-day device for me, and for some of you out there, it may be 3 days if you're moderate to light as far as using a device as a daily driver, depending on what you do with it, whether you're into videos or gaming or web browsing, social media, whatever. Okay, a lot of phone calls, texting. So let me get to the build. Now that we know that the 5,000 milliamp battery is A+, the build of this device is great. Now, it does have a cheap plastic back, slippery, but BLU gives you a case to put on this device to protect it, number one, and number two, to give you a little bit of grip when you're holding a device. Now, they try to minimize the plastic on this device. They have an aluminum surrounding body here that protects this device nice. That is nice and strong and firm when you're holding it in your hand. So this aluminum that surrounds it is the frame of the device, and it's really sexy looking and chiseled out just right. So it makes up for that plastic back that's on this device. Thank you, BLU, for throwing in that aluminum on there and making it tough. Okay, it feels really good. I'm not into small devices, but if it's going to be in my hand and I'm going to like it or love it, it's got to have something nice about it, and it's got to give me something to say, okay, got to put my 6-inch device down and grab this little 5-incher. Why? Well, number one, the 5,000 milliamp battery. That is an A+. Number two, because it's a sexy little white device. And you can get it in black, but I like the white. It's my first white device. And it's strong, and I like that. It makes up for that plastic back cover. Okay? So those are 2 great reasons to have this device. What's the other reasons? Well, and again, this is all my opinion. The back camera, 8-megapixel camera, it's the best 8-megapixel camera on a BLU device over all the other BLU devices that have 8-megapixel camera. Now, there's some that have 13 and some that have 21, 24. This one has an 8-megapixel camera on the back with a 1080p video shooter. This supersedes all the other devices that they've made with 8 megapixels. And I put up a couple videos of some night pics and day pics, and I think they're great. I think they're wonderful. And again, remember the price point, 180 bucks. This supersedes the $180. I could have spent 250 bucks on that and still been happy from what I'm getting as far as video and pics from the back. Okay, which leads me to my one biggest negative on the front, and that's the camera on the front. Video isn't crap, but it's not good. I probably won't be using it very much at all. The camera on the front, if you want to do some selfies, it'll be just fine. They're not great. They're barely good, but it's good enough for selfies, okay? So stick with the back camera as far as videos and pics, and you're going to be just fine. Which then leads me to my next thing, which could be a negative or positive for some. I don't have on this device on-screen buttons. They're right here below on the chin of the device. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but they're down here on the chin of the device. They're not on screen. Some of you out there, that may be something you don't like. It doesn't bother me. I do like them on the display, but they're fine down here, and then they don't have the backlight on them either. So if you're in the dark, you have to guess where they're at. After using it a few times, it gets easier, and you start to figure out where they're at. Now, the other confusing thing is that the back button is on the opposite side. Usually it's on the left-hand side, but it's on the right-hand side. Again, one of those things you have to get used to, but they're not deal breakers at all. In fact, it makes the brain work. It's good that we do things that make the brain work. So it's reversed. So what? Get used to that. The power button is below the volume rocker, and hopefully you can see that. It's right here. Typically, that is up here, and the volume rocker is down here. So it's the opposite. So what? Your brain has to work to get used to that. It's no big deal to me. Maybe for you. I don't know. Those could be negatives and positives. Which leads me up to now, hopefully that's it as far as negatives and positives. One of the other things that I like most about this device is the display. It's only 720p, but it's Super AMOLED, and it is sharp, vivid, crisp. The blacks are blacks, the blues are blues. It's poppy. When you're watching videos on here, movies, especially sci-fi, oh my gosh, it's like, wow, yeah, it's great. So, which comes to the next thing. Only one speaker right here. Hopefully you can see that grill, but it's loud. A little more treble than bass, but it's loud. Now, a lot of companies out there put speakers like this on the back of their devices, and I've seen them on $400, $500, $600 devices, and they sound like crap. And you know what? If you're going to put a speaker on the back of the device, at least do us a favor and give us a quality speaker if it's going to be on the back. BLU did it right. They put a quality speaker on the back of this device, and it sounds great for what it is at 180 bucks. Again, I told you I'd still buy it at $250. I'd buy this over the Zenfone 2, the Alcatel Idol 3, the Motorola Moto G 3rd Gen. Yeah, I know, those aren't bad devices. Those are good devices, and they're priced just right for what they are. The Alcatel Idol 3 has front-facing speakers, those JBLs. But I'm getting so much more out of this, and I think because it was such a surprise on what I'm getting out of this device, that it's just, I get excited. I get excited with something out of the norm, and I just get wowed by it. So, let's get back into the back cover, and I'm going to show you what's underneath there. Always hate taking off these plastic covers. You always feel like you're going to break them, even though it's pretty sturdy and pretty tough. So, back of the device, inside the back cover of the device, we have the 5,000 milliamp battery. We have your micro SIM. I actually have an adapter because my T-Mobile SIM card is a nano SIM, so I have the adapter in there. On the other side, the right-hand side, you have another slot for a SIM card. If you want to travel internationally, you'll be able to use that as well. And up top, we have a slot for a micro SD card. Expandable up to 64. This is a 16 gig variant. It's got 1.5 gigs of RAM, which I didn't think was going to be enough, but it is. It's been sufficient. I've had no issues with that. So 16 gigs of internal storage, expandable up to 64. You got the extra SIM slot for international traveling if you need so. And again, you got your micro SIM. It's a regular micro SIM. It's not a nano SIM. So an adapter will be needed. Be careful when you're inserting that in and out so the adapter doesn't get caught. Okay, you don't want to tear those pins out of there. So, and again, there's that 5,000 milliamp battery. Man, my 2-day device. Sweet. And of course, your camera and your single flash right there as well. So, with that being said, I am running Google Launcher on here, not for performance reasons. This device, performance is A+. I've had no lag, no stutter whatsoever. I'm only running the Google Launcher because I love the more simplistic look of pure stock Android. Okay, you still have underneath, well, if it's the blue skin, you don't have an app drawer. But because I have the Google Launcher, I have the app drawer. But inside the app drawer, which is nice and fluid, look at that. It's just fluid. I mean, my experience on this device has been just like this. Just fluid. No issues whatsoever. But inside the app drawer, you'll have your little goodies as far as the blue apps that they give you. And I'm not going to really get into any of that, okay? You can mess around with that once you get it if you decide you want to use that. But that's not... I'm here more to give you what this device is as far as a daily driver in performance and body build and the camera, if that's something in media aspects of this device, because it's a solid device. This is a budget flagship device. This is the Huawei Nexus 6P of budget devices. Okay, yeah, don't laugh. I'm being serious. I had the 6P in my hand. It's a phenomenal powerhouse super daddy device. And I missed that device, and I may bring it back in. But let me tell you, this is the super daddy powerhouse of budget devices. I'm wowed by it. I'm in love with it. And it's a small 5-inch device that I didn't think I was going to get this much out of it. I literally didn't think so. So please, as you're watching this video, understand what I'm saying. I wouldn't waste your time, especially if you're a flagship person who does not consider budget devices. I wouldn't waste your time if I didn't think this device was worth picking up for 180 bucks. It should cost a little more than that. It really should. But for what you're getting, man, I hope you're as excited as I get emotional. I really get into this when I come across something that isn't supposed to be what it is, and it is a lot more. Here's a small device with a lot to give, with big surprises if you have this in your hand. Call quality, messaging, A+. Have had no issues whatsoever. Okay? Which just got a message, but I'm going to get back to that in a little bit. This video is going on forever. Sorry about that. But I really wanted to cover all those areas. Again, there are some little things that BLU has on here that you can discover on your own. And whether you're excited by that or not, I don't know. But what I want you to understand about this review is that you would have a device in hand that's going to be solid, that will get you through a few days. Okay? And it's going to perform. And it's going to meet the basics. It's going to meet your needs as far as a smartphone and what a smartphone is supposed to give you, the user. All the other stuff behind that are the treats. So those are just extras. Okay? None of that would matter if this device didn't function for you as a user, right? That's what it comes down to. Is this device going to get me through the day with a message, with a call, with a little social media, with a video, with a movie, with playing my music? How is it going to sound? How is it going to look when I'm checking out the latest and greatest review by My Project 13? Yeah, right. Just playing with you. So, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Is this device going to get you through the day, and are you going to put it down at the end of the night and go, wow, that was a worthy device to have in hand? And it's by BLU. So come on, BLU, get with it with your customer base. Return the phone calls. Get on it with them. Get those software updates going in a timely fashion, because if this is the footstep of what we're about to see in the future in the next few years from you, then you got to get going with your customers. Okay? I'm bragging about this device. And I'd like to say more about the company when it comes to customer relations. And I hope they really work on that. I really do. Because if they do, these guys are going to do a lot better. And they're going to be more in the conversation with a lot of other devices that are out there by other companies. Okay? We want to see more from the little guys, not so much from the big guys. And we want the prices to drop. And we want great devices in hand that we can trust. And no, we don't have to spend $800, $900 to get that. Okay? Seriously. That's the way I see it. That's the way I would like it. But, again, a lot of this is my own opinion. Hopefully you follow with what I'm saying. But that is my full review on this device. I think I covered everything. Again, I might have mumble-jumbled that around. You put the pieces together. I think you understand where I'm coming from. Until my next video, you guys, thanks for taking the time to watch. And please, click, click, click. This is my Project 13. God bless. I'm out.